Welcome to Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Borough in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington. And it is so nice to have you folks with us. Welcome once again to Sportsline Trivia. And good to have you with us. As I mentioned, our phone number 724-236-0430. That's the number to call to be on the program. We are live Monday nights streaming, and we're on Comcast Cable Thursday evenings. This particular program, 8:30 Thursday evening, and a week from this program, on a Thursday night, June 27th, will be on the air at 5:30 for a special preemptive ruling that came up just for the 1 week. But anyway, just to make you aware and alert, Mike Pavlik joins me tonight. And Mike, good to have you.
Good to be here.
Is there a reason you're wearing the Highlands?
No, it was just sort of next in the rotation. It was warm today, and I wanted something cool, and this is nice and thin, so it. Even though it's brown, it works out just fine. I wore these golfing a lot too, so they
looks good.
Thanks to all the folks over there for their help with us.
All right, rules and regulations on winning we want to run through right now. As you know that when you do call, you are eligible for a prize if you've not won the week before. So it's every other week. The Grand Salami Prize or the Mystery Profile can only be won once a month, and you can only try the Mystery Profile once in a calendar month. All right. Multiple choice questions get 15 seconds for you. Grand Salamis at 20. The Mystery Profile goes clue by clue. First time callers. We had 3 of them last week that won 2 or more prizes because of their correct answers. Had a good studio participation week last week. And the answers to the trivia questions are found on my website, doubledribblebob.com. And one more reminder that my radio program comes up every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. WAVL, they're 9:10 on the AM dial. And if you're going to explain to your kid what an AM radio station is, it's a step up from the Crystal set.
Yes.
Okay. So, Michael, before we go to break and take, I believe Chris is our first call. The Pirates, as we speak here, 13 above 500. If we beat Cincinnati on this particular night, we're up 14. It seems to be much more of an interest in the ball club from the people that I hear on various talk shows.
No, it's similar to how it was last year.
Yeah.
And you're kind of just
you hope they don't go in the tank.
Kind of just waiting for the bottom to fall out, but I don't know. They have a lot of injuries to their starting rotation right now. They have one pitcher, Jeff Locke, who was actually in the rotation when the season started, still there. So they need to get some people back healthy, and this is a very tough stretch that they're going into right now.
And McDonald is not doing all that well in AAA.
He's doing pretty terrible. We do have other news that we'll get to as the show goes on, but we have Clint Barmas has finally been supplanted at shortstop, it appears, by Jordy Mercer. So that's at least a start. Hopefully he'll do well enough. We have that to deal with. First round picks about to sign. And other things.
And Cole's doing well.
He did well. I saw him pitch yesterday. I heard after the game where he said that he didn't have his best stuff, which I thought was interesting. And many pitchers throwing fastballs, high percentage of fastballs, and not working his other pitches in. And some people are concerned about that because he's not striking people out. I'm happy that he's getting people out. I just think that there is going to come a time when he's going to need a strikeout in certain situations, and he's going to need to get to that. So we'll see. I think only four Pirate pitchers have won their first 2 starts in since the early '60s. So I mean, this is a really good beginning to a career, and hopefully he keeps it going.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back. Chris will be up first when we return. So, who's on the line? Well, you know what? We might want to take Mark only because I know he's on a break from work, so we might start with Mark. But in either case, let's do the break. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. Since 1914, people in the local area have relied on the Resevich family in deepest time of need. The Resevich family is the oldest established name in the funeral profession in the AK Valley. Its reputation and unquestionable service speaks for itself. Now the proud tradition of service continues with a fourth generation. The Resevich family serves the AK Valley from two locations, 5th Avenue Arnold and Leechburg Road, Lower Burrell.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Welcome to Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, the place for big appetites. Their great sandwich selection includes the Geronimo, piled high with generous portions of meat and fixings. Their barbecue ribs are the best in town. Half rack or full rack, they don't become better. Buffalo Bill's wings are everybody's favorite. Uniquely oven-baked, not deep-fried, and yet so crispy. Your choice of 13 flavored seasonings. Grab a bucket for the big game. Eat in or take out, credit cards accepted. Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, Freeport Road, New Kensington, across from Felderelli Square. And if you have an opportunity tonight when you do call the program, you want to take a shot at our mystery profile, it is sponsored by Mattio's Pizza and Subs. In Tarentum, you know everything on their menu is made with high-quality ingredients, hand-tossed pizzas, gyro sandwiches, subs, and hoagies, calzones, strombolis, wingdings, and lots more. So Mattio's, located right near the Carolyn Bengal District Magistrate's office. That's where they are, okay? Right up there in Brackenridge Heights at the light. Okay, we're going to go to Mark and welcome him to the program tonight. Mark, we're going to take you because I think you're on a break. Am I correct?
Yes. Good evening.
Hi, Mark.
Welcome to the program.
Hey, all the Pirates would have to do is win 5 out of every 8 games now, and they'd be, what, close to probably be in the playoffs?
Hey, I was even saying the other day, Mark, that I would be happy if they played 500 until September 1st. That would make them 13 games over 500 on September 1st, and that puts you in pretty good shape.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So even that, at this point, I just like to get through this spell here with their injured pitchers. I don't know what's with Wandy Rodriguez. He supposedly threw off the mound today, reported it felt all right, so they're going to move on from that. A.J. Burnett's going to be a while. I don't care what anybody says. That one looks...
Coupled with his age.
Yeah, and I mean, he's in a walking boot, so he can't even walk. So you're going to have to wait a while on that. I guess Genmar Gomez is the closest guy to coming back. But if they can get that rotation put back together, some semblance of getting 5 guys and rolling them over a few times, which they just haven't done all year. It's amazing they are where they are, considering that they've. I think I heard Neil Huntington say that if you count Jeff Karstens, that they're on their 13th starting pitcher. That Brandon Compton is starting pitcher number 13.
Clint Hurdle is doing something like Boswell did in hockey, roll the lines.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty amazing that they are where they are, considering they haven't hit much.
Okay, and changing the subject, what the heck happened to Tiger Woods? Is he hurting or what? I mean, the way he folded over the weekend.
Well, he can't putt anymore. And you know, you've seen guys like Johnny Miller even said it over the weekend. He said that if he can't putt, he's not going to win a major. And Johnny Miller said, "Trust me, I know, because it happened to him, and it happened to Tom Watson, and the putting has left him. It really has. And if you can't putt in a major, you're not going to win it. You have to be able to do that. And Justin Rose, who did win yesterday, his weakness was his putter, but it wasn't this week. He was able to put that together and win."
Yeah, because I watched some of between the Pirate game and golf yesterday, and that was a pretty good open. It was really interesting.
It was, and Phil Mickelson losing against. It's like hard to say losing when you finish second.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to take up too much time. I guess I'll go for multiple choice, please.
All right,
Michael?
let's go at it, Mark. Here we go. Let's get you a winner. Since the live ball era began in 1920, what pitcher registered the most career losses? Most career losses by a starting pitcher in the live ball era. Nolan Ryan, Steve Carlton, Warren Spahn, Robin Roberts. You'll notice they're all in the Hall of Fame.
Ooh. How about Robin Roberts?
That is not correct. Robin Roberts, when he retired, had the record for most home runs allowed. I think Jamie Moyer took that over. But Nolan Ryan is the answer. The most losses since in the live ball era since 1920.
Oh,
and
okay.
But he did all right for himself. He won a lot of games.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. All those guys are pretty good. Okay, thank you, fellas. I got to
Thanks,
get
Mark.
going. Have a good day.
All right, appreciate
Okay,
that. And we're going to jump over to Chris real quick. Chris, thank you for holding on. I know we had you lined up as number one tonight, but we got to.
It doesn't matter to me. I mean, it's all part of the show. I'm just sitting behind. He's in the machine shop. I'm on commission sales. That's totally different. So, what are you going to do? I just wanted to make a comment on that Boston game. I mean, it looks like it's going to be a tough series. I mean, I'm really enjoying the hockey game.
Well, I'm enjoying them too. The only problem is that I haven't seen the end of either one. The last three hockey games that have been played, you go back to last Saturday night's conference final with the Kings and the Blackhawks, and the first two games of the finals, I've fallen asleep before the end of all three games. So now I'm nearing the point where I used to laugh at all these people, and they would say because they're so old they couldn't stay up and watch it. They're starting the games too late. I got it. I'm there. I haven't seen the end. I made 2 overtimes in game one, which I thought was pretty good, but then I just couldn't make it. I was drifting at the end of the second overtime and finally just gave up. Saturday I had all the best intentions and just fell asleep before it ended.
Well, what are you going to do? I mean, you can fall asleep. You're tired. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, you work hard all day. What are you going to do? I mean, that's just nature. But I mean, my point is, number 2, I'm also impressed with that pitcher that the Pirates debuted. That was really good.
Garrett
Especially
Cole,
the fact
yes.
that we won the game too.
I like the first game when he actually got a hit. When he was actually like the only Pirate batter that knew what to do with runners in scoring position, which was amazing. It was his first, Bob. I don't know if it was his first hit since high school.
Really?
He hadn't had a hit since high
I mean,
school.
even though they had the injury list, I mean, sometimes injuries aren't a factor. I mean, look at Big Ben. He went out there even when he was injured, and sometimes they had positive results. I mean, you just can't sell them short. I know injuries are injuries, but I mean, I don't expect a big collapse. I expect maybe to go into. I don't think we're going to be division winners or anything, but if we get a wild card, I expect maybe second or third.
I'll be happy with second or third at this point.
I'd be happy with second or third myself.
Maybe enough at this point.
We're 3 points out right now.
Cardinals are amazing, and they've had a bunch of injuries too, and they've been able to overcome those, and they're still 3 games ahead. The Reds bullpen is awful, but they can roll their starting pitchers through. Last year, the Reds only had 1 start that wasn't by their normal 5 guys. That they went their 5-man rotation, all except for 1 start all season.
I'll be darned.
I mean,
you can do that.
I mean, if you got injuries, you're going to have the same factor no matter what. Because that's a big part of
I
it.
can't hear him.
I think it's going to be a big part of it, even if you have the injuries, because most of them are injured. Am I correct?
Oh yeah, I mean,
It'll be just a challenge. That's all. I mean, that wouldn't even be a big factor then. If it was like one individual that's strong and one individual that's injured, then that's a different story. But I mean, you're on the same level, so whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
right. But hopefully they get some guys back healthy. And what's going to have to happen now is that the bats are going to have to pick it up. They're going to have to start to hit because you're not going to win every game 2-1 anyway. And they were going to have to start to hit eventually. And that's really what's killed them the last 2 years when they've fallen on such hard times in second halves of seasons. Is that the pitching wasn't able to hold up, and they weren't hitting consistently enough to make up.
But we only have 5 teams in the division, too, so that made a big difference too.
Yeah, we lost the Astros, but the Brewers have taken their place very representatively so far. The Brewers are just as bad as the Astros have been recently, and they're a bad baseball team. So there were 2, but the thing you have to look at is that everybody in that division is playing the same teams. And
That's what I'm saying. They're playing the same teams, but their injury rate's about the same. Am I correct or am I wrong?
Yeah, it is. Everything's about the same.
So I mean, you're just going to end up. You're not going to have a perfect 100% season anyhow for anybody. I don't think it'll never happen that way.
No. I'll tell you what, they got a really interesting little road trip they have coming up.
I mean,
9 games.
just as long as they get the momentum and get the people excited, because that's what sells. When you get the people excited and they want to buy, you know.
Well, Garrett Cole's got the people excited, and they're buying for him. I'll tell you that right now. They pulled in over 30,000 for a Tuesday night game.
Okay, and I wanted to make another comment. Mike, I had a couple customers come in on the hat. I gave them your address for the hat because they liked the hat when I brought them out to the.
Oh,
I brought
yeah?
them out to Silver Report. They liked the hat that I had on with the sunglasses.
The hat.
Oh, okay. Well, see, of course, in my headset, I'm having a problem hearing you tonight. Mike,
Okay.
Mike's
Yes,
okay.
I am.
But it's cleared up now, so give me that again. You were talking?
My customers like my hat that I had with the sunglasses on.
Oh, okay. So how many do you need?
I gave them the address, and if
Oh,
they like
okay, that's
I'm
fine.
not going to take my hands in that situation.
That's fine. We'll get them out to them.
We love the hats, too. That's a great.
Yeah, I know. Makes it nice for me. You know what my glasses are like. So
Yeah.
it's a great thing you came up with the invention. So
All
we'll
right.
take multiple choice, if you will.
All right, Chris, here you go. Next up in rotation is question number 5, and Chris is going to give it number 6.
Whatever it is,
Thanks
I'll give
for
it a
the
good
control room.
college try anyway. I don't know if I'll be good at it or not, but give it a
All
try.
right, Chris, here we go. What major leaguer has posted the longest consecutive game hitting streak in the 21st century? Okay, the most consecutive games
That's
with
the
a
newest
hit.
players then. They're the younger players, and it's got to be a younger player, correct?
Yes.
I,
Yes, it would be.
all right, here we go. I'm still having a problem. Dan Ugla is number 1. Chase Utley is number 2. Luis Castillo, number 3. Jimmy Rollins is number 4.
I wouldn't say Jimmy Rollins.
And you say right, Chris.
Beautiful.
Now, Chris, the last time we sent you a gift,
Yes.
I think we sent you down to Krause's.
Yes, I enjoyed it.
I understand, let's see, now they're open in the evenings as well, so they've expanded somewhat.
Yes.
And-
That's a good restaurant, very good.
Well,
I eat in there every day. I get
You eat
guys
there
know
every day. Great for you. Chris, we'll send you out a coupon, and for one prize or another, thank you for your participation here tonight. Mike and I
Okay.
are going to take a break. We'll come
Have a
back
good day. Bye-bye.
and continue with Sportsline Trivia right after this timeout.
Husqvarna, taming the wild.
Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Accidents happen. Are you prepared? You can be with a wide range of homeowners insurance options from Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557. My first book on sports is available not only through the internet, but at various local businesses in the AK Valley. It's Bob Tattern's Sports Minutes. Short sports stories, odd and unusual, fascinating and funny, only take about a minute to read. Go online to doubletripplebob.com, where links are provided for Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Word Association to get book information. Get your copy locally at Costello Printing in Tarentum, Blackburn's in Tarentum, Myrna's Brewery Outlet in New Kensington, or the Hot Dog Guys Lower Borough.
At Tower Auto Sales in Blawnox, you have the luxury of choice. Where you buy your car is just important as what you buy. Call Mike Fanto and let Tower Auto Sales experienced staff help you with the purchase of your next pre-owned vehicle. Remember the slogan at Tower Auto Sales, just buy it. Tower Auto Sales on Freeport Road in Blawnox. Give them a call at 412-828-6202.
Okay, wanted to mention something. I had, you're going to love this, Mike. I had gone out to the Hot Dog Guys. As you know, they have a stand, portable. They're out at the exit 14. interchange of the Route 28 Expressway, and they had a little table set up for me so I could, sell some books.
Sure.
And the easier thing to do, obviously, is as you're heading up to get on.
Which would be outbound.
Okay.
Or inbound towards Pittsburgh.
But people coming off park on the other side and are doing this, waiting for an opportunity to come across the road, hopefully in safety.
I might be brave, but I'm not walking across 28 for a hot dog.
And
those are good hot dogs, I got to tell you, but geez.
They are. And I was talking with Paul and Jim about, I said, that guy parked across the street. He says, Bob, they do it all the time.
That's beautiful.
I said, we're going to have to bring up a camera and do play-by-play.
Of everybody.
And hopefully they're going to make
A
it.
hidden camera.
Oh, gosh.
A show, funniest home videos, watching the people dodging
Oh,
cars.
geez.
We suggest that you park on the side of the road that they're on.
Yeah. But if you have an opportunity,
Maybe
visit.
no place to make a U-turn there, huh? Is that the problem?
Visit the hot, oh, no, you can.
You can it. Yeah.
Well, no, if you're coming off the expressway, you have to go all the way down to the old Tarentum High School and somewhere turn around and then go back. That's the problem.
Beautiful Grandview Elementary where the ceilings are this low.
That's where it is.
My dad went to high school in that building.
Oh, boy.
Yes, he did.
All right, folks, 237-043. Thanks, Paul. Paul's in the audience laughing. 724-236.
0430.
I had it right at the beginning of the program. I look at no cue cards. I try to get it right. Good grief.
That's why I write it down.
All right.
Who's on? That's like me going to the grocery store without a shopping list.
Oh,
see,
you should be married and try to do it.
I can't do. Well, I know I'm the only person that yells at myself in this case. I can't do it, and I gave up trying to do it. It's like, or I'll walk in there and say, "Today I'm flying without a net."
What do you mean you brought this home?
Unbelievable.
All right, let's go to the phones. Terry, how are you, sir?
Good evening, fellas.
Good evening.
I was up in Cleveland yesterday.
My condolences.
Oh.
Kidding. I was born up there.
I didn't feel like going because the weather was so bad. We got up there and actually the clouds broke away and we had blue skies and hot sun for quite some time.
We had the same thing down here eventually, but it took till about 3 o'clock.
Strasburg pitched for the Nationals, and that brings me to my point, my question for you. The first guy that I saw that routinely, I guess you'd say, threw over 100 miles an hour was Bartolo Colon. And watching many games up in Cleveland, you'd watch the miles per hour on the scoreboard.
Right.
100, 101, 100, 101, 98, 99, 101, He was up there quite a bit. Strasburg's another one. This fellow Cole, I think he's got the ability to maybe do something like that we saw pitch a couple of times already for the Pirates. And then there's Chapman down in Cincinnati. So my question is, I have seen guys smack Bartolo Colon around quite a bit in the old days when he was throwing 100 miles an hour. The Indians didn't beat up Strasburg yesterday, but they got some hits off of him. And it just makes me wonder why everybody is so in awe of Chapman, other than the fact he's apparently a headhunter. I mean, does he have a lot more movement on his ball than these other guys are throwing, straight pitches at 100 miles an hour?
Well, you also have to remember, the thing you have to remember about Chapman and Billy Wagner, too, when he was pitching for Houston and closing, is that they're only pitching one inning and maybe pitching to 3 guys. Strasburg, Garrett Cole, or any of these other starters, Verlander, that throw the ball very, very hard, you get a second look and a third look, maybe. And I think that makes a big difference. Or Colon in the Indians' case when he was still there. These guys got the second look and the third look, and to have a chance to get your timing down. And big league hitters can hit those kind of pitches. With the advent of the bullpen the way it is now, these guys do so well because they can come in and pitch 1 inning. And maybe on Tuesday night, the 3 guys they face are maybe the 6, 7, and 8 guys in the order. And they could come right back in on Wednesday and pitch to 1, 2, 3, and they still haven't seen them yet.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I think that has a lot to do with the success of some of these guys, is the fact it's the familiarity. And the other thing I always said was, not even how hard you throw, but a guy like Lee Smith, and that was, I think relief pitchers to save their career need to change leagues every 5 or 6 years. Because then you don't see the person, and you can actually get basically a new audience.
Yeah.
And that can save guys, and it does, especially guys that are longer in their careers. It's like, oh, time to change leagues, and you'll see that, and it can work. But Chapman's an interesting case, and like you said, headhunter. Yet there's going to be trouble in these games. There's going to be trouble. But I think the Pirates kind of turned the corner on that a little bit the last time Cincinnati was here a couple weeks ago, and that was that every time McCutchen got hit in a game, eventually Brandon Phillips got hit too. And eventually, when Phillips got hit in the Saturday night game, he was walking down to first base saying, "Why me?" Well, go ask your manager why you. The only way that's going to stop is you eventually tell your manager, stop hitting their guy, so I stop getting hit, and that's the way it's going to work. And the Pirates seem to finally have gotten the message that the only way to combat it is that, well, that's obviously the guy they picked, and he's the guy that's going to get hit.
I could not believe it last summer when McCutchen took one in the ear, and they didn't do anything, regardless of that so-called warning and the fines and the suspension. You're going to take somebody out and even the score, and they won't do it again.
Well,
but they didn't.
I saw Colin Dunlap, who's on the Fan now and used to write for the Post-Gazette, had a thing that he had mentioned yesterday about James McDonald, and that James McDonald's time in Pittsburgh may be limited right now. He may be to the point where they've about had enough, and when it comes time for him to come off of rehab, they may not have a spot on the team for him, even though they have 4 starting pitchers on the disabled list. That'll tell you how bad he's doing. But Dunlap takes it back to the day after the McCutchen incident, which was on a Friday, and they played Cincinnati again on that next Saturday night, and McDonald was the pitcher for the Pirates and didn't do anything. And the funny part about it was Mike Leake, who's pitching for the Reds tonight, pitched that night for Cincinnati and hit 3 more Pirates. But what Mike Leake does is he's sneaky. He hits you with a curveball. He hits you with a curveball and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, it was a breaking ball. I wasn't trying to." And Bob Walk was even telling a story about that. That's how Rick Rushell handled things back when Bob Walk first came to the Pirates. Rick Rushell hit you with a curveball because that way the message got across. He didn't hurt you, but he had such good control of it. He knew he could do it, and the umpires never suspected. And that
was why they called Jim Palmer Gentleman Jim Palmer. That was his technique.
Yep. Oh, exactly. And so, we'll see. But they may have gotten a message on this, and something will happen, because that's how Dusty Baker operates. Something will happen when he thinks he has the edge by using intimidation, and he's done it in all his stops and all the places he's been. I expect to see something else go on. Wouldn't surprise me that in the very first inning of the first game, McCutchen gets hit again.
I was reading an article on the internet from the Sporting News about the beanballs with the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks, and in the article, the guy mentioned that last year, the Reds pitcher Cueto, during a base brawl, if you will, after some hit-by pitches, actually kicked the St. Louis guy in the head, and the guy still has not returned to baseball. It's the first I'd heard of that. Are you guys aware of that?
It may not have even been last year. It might have been 2 years ago, but I know those teams go at it all the time, and it's the same thing with the Reds. When the Reds first got good, which I think they won the division 3 years ago. They won it last year, didn't win the year before that, but did win it the year before that. And, of course, with La Russa was still with the Cardinals, and with Molina, they had some serious battles. So I do know that fight did take place, and it's the same thing. The Dusty Baker feeling, okay, here's how I have to get my team over, and I have to show them that I'm not going to take anything, and this is how we're going to approach it. And that's basically what he's doing with the Pirates, is what the Cardinals did to a lot of people. Same type of deal. And Cueto's, and eventually what's going to happen is you're going to get one of your own guys hurt and you saw the Diamondbacks Dodgers fight. You're going to get one of your guys hurt by, if not necessarily the beanball itself, the fight that comes after it.
Yeah, well, my question is, if that's true, if he actually did kick somebody in the head, why isn't he in jail? let alone out of baseball.
Seriously. Well, I'll tell you what.
And by the way, can I ask, if you recall the footage of this thing, how did he happen to do that?
Guys on the ground.
I didn't see that. That was like I said. The article said it was last year. Mike thinks it might have been 2 years ago.
It's possible it was last year, Terry. They fight so often, I can't keep track of them. And I'm being serious. I don't remember.
I just saw the article. I hadn't heard of this incident until I read it in the article.
But what you're saying about the possibilities of suspensions or whatever, they completely botched the suspensions on that last fight.
Oh, sure.
Yasiel Puig, the new Cuban for the Dodgers, who, believe me, I saw him play in person twice this weekend. I already have no use for him. Yeah, just the way he handles himself out there, he's gonna end up wearing a couple in his ear too. He sucker punched Erakinski from behind and attacked him from behind, and got nothing. And Erakinski got 5 games for making peace. It's like Major League Baseball was not suspending the new superstar.
Yeah, it's pretty pathetic. There's so many things that umpires miss now that we can see with replay that they don't have a way to correct, which are really affecting the outcome of the season, perhaps. And the brawls, you and I get in a fight, and I'm a first baseman, and you're a pitcher, and so I get 2 games off, and you get 5, which means really you only missed 1 start. You know, I mean, what's this? You know.
Well, that's what they gave Ian Kennedy. Threw the ball and hit the guy in the head, Greinke, on purpose, and got 10 games, which you say is the equivalent of 2.
Yeah, maybe 3 if he's lucky, but probably just 2.
2, right. And then that's what it is. And I'm still trying to figure out how Erakinski got 5. I mean, but see, and there you also take into account who the combatants on the other side. And watching Greinke's pitch yesterday, it was reminding me of the whole thing. That, you know, how many Dodgers played against the Pirates this weekend that were supposed to be suspended, but they're all appealing their suspension?
Sure.
Skip Schumacher takes a home run away on Saturday and cost the Pirates the game. He's supposed to be suspended.
Yeah, that was a great catch, though. You got to.
Yeah, but he shouldn't have been out there. I mean, you know, and then Greinke pitches yesterday, which, you know, turned out to be okay because Pedro figured it out in the 3rd at bat. But, you know, Greinke brings a lot of that on himself. And you'll notice that's about the 3rd incident this year that he's been in the middle of. It's not an accident.
By the way, Terry, just I did a little summary before. There are only 5 teams that have won more games than the Pirates have this year. Only 5. So we're not to change the subject on you, but I did want to get that plug in for the old Bucks.
I can tell you who one of those teams is not. It's not the Indians.
It's not the Indians. The Indians have been kind of up and down so far, have they not?
Yeah, they're 34 and 34 right now. They're still in 2nd place, but that could change tonight playing Kansas City.
I found it here for you, Terry. It's August 19th, 2010. Johnny Cueto kicks Jason LaRue, catcher from the Reds. He sustained a concussion and has had to retire because of it. The guy, he can't play anymore because of this.
Yeah, so, you know, you and I are in the outfield, or you're a base runner and I'm the infielder, and we collide during the process of the game, and you're out for your career. Well, that's the breaks of the game.
Right.
But in this case, then Cueto should be banned for life, or until the guy he hurt comes back. And if he can't come back, he can't come back.
Well, it's funny because all the things I see listed on Google here, many of the headlines are legal implications, like you said.
I was going to say, where's the attorney?
But nothing is. There are no articles here since 2010. It just seemed to have gone away. You wonder if maybe some money might have changed hands behind the scenes there, and that kind of made everything okay. You know, seriously, because why wouldn't a guy who's had his career taken away from him pursue some sort of legal action in this case? And I'm serious. I see nothing after original of August and September of 2010.
And if there is video footage, there's proof.
Right.
It's nothing alleged.
I remember them, and it's funny because Jason LaRue was with the Reds for years, and they were teammates. And then he happened to be on the Cardinals at the time. And that's exactly the year I was thinking of. It was the very first time that the Reds had gotten good, and they and the Cardinals have had their big brawl. And this game was in Cincinnati, if I remember correctly, in a day game. And, you know, they had their big brawl. The Reds went into Cincinnati, I remember, and beat them 3 straight. And everybody, and they thought, okay, we've put that little upstart team away. And it completely reversed. That the Cardinals then fell apart, and the Reds went on a great streak, even though they lost those games. And Dusty must have thought it worked.
Terry, you're not eligible this week.
No, I don't think so.
However, I didn't mention this to Mike. There are occasions when Terry will win, at least $50 in prizes, what have you, and has gone to either Golden Dawn or Community Market and has made the purchase. Is it plum rose or rose plum?
Plum rose ribs.
Package of ribs that are already sauced and seasoned.
And cooked. All you got to do is eat them up.
That's
They are
it.
delicious.
Fantastic. But anyway, I thank you for the email that I got. I told my wife, we got to try that.
Thanks for the
That's
suggestion.
right.
Exactly. With all these holidays coming up here, we're in all these nice weekends to grill out. That can just warm those babies up, and you're in.
Okay.
That's good for an indoor deal. If it happens to rain out your barbecue,
Well,
can cook them
you
inside.
probably wouldn't want to grill them
Right, that's what I'm
because
saying.
of the
If you get-
sauce is already on them and it'd be all over the place.
Right,
You
if
might just want to.
If you get, that's what I said. If you get a rain out on your cookout, then you can just cook those things inside, and you're in.
Yep, toss them in the oven. Yep.
Now, last week we sent you $50 in prizes, right?
Yes, that's right.
So what did you get?
We haven't gotten anything on that yet.
I haven't sent that to you?
Yeah, you sent it. No, I got it. We just haven't purchased anything with it.
Oh,
There's
okay.
still in discussions at home on what to get.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
what did I send you?
25 for community market and 25 for the restaurant right next door to Pizza Hut. And I can't think of the name of it.
Krause's.
Krause's, yes, of course.
You'll enjoy that.
On beautiful Leechburg Road.
Yeah.
Hey, Terry, thanks for the call.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
All right,
Terry. Good to hear
appreciate
from
it.
you.
It is
Bye-bye.
break time. When we come back, Paul, you ready to go? Okay, Paul's going to join us from our studio audience here tonight, and I see where we have another caller as well, which will go after Paul. So let's do that. Break time. Back in a moment. Stay with us.
380 Auction and Discount Warehouse, Route 380 Murraysville.
Automotive supplies, groceries, housewares, pet supplies.
All at discount prices.
Sofas, dining tables, recliners, dressers and desks, lamps and end tables.
All at discount prices.
Yard and landscaping supplies, special catalog orders, mattresses with full warranties.
All at discount prices.
School supplies, tools, paint, toiletries, model cars, toys.
All at discount prices. Get to 380 Auction and Discount Warehouse today, Route 380 Murraysville.
Why do Arnold Furniture's customers continue to come back year after year? Maybe it's the personal touch that the Miller family has provided since 1975. Maybe it's the prices that are consistently lower than the competition. Or how about the selection? 4 floors of living room, dining room, recliners, bedding, accessories, and so much more. Plus free local delivery, free setup, and free removal of your old furniture guaranteed. The choice is obvious. Visit Arnold Furniture online at arnoldfurnitureinc.com or stop in and see us today.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Hey, don't forget my website. It's doubledribblebob.com. You get the answers to the trivia questions there. Also, my radio show Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock on WAVL, Liberty 910. That's the AM dial, 910 on the dial. We're going to go to the studio audience right now. Paul, standing by. Paul, welcome to the program. Thanks for coming down tonight.
How are you?
Good.
Okay, good.
Well, summer's officially over because the Canadian Football League started on Thursday night.
Thanks a lot. So who won that? Who was playing? Are they getting along without Mark Tressman?
I have no. I just know the first game Winnipeg beat Toronto.
Oh, that's good. A little Blue Bomber trivia for you.
But I think someone should give somebody a weed eater for the golf course at the U.S. Open, even though they intentionally made it rough for the golfers this week.
Yeah, we kind of brought this up before the show a little bit, and that was that Paul is a very golf course superintendent type of guy, and I said that I think that the guys that run the U.S. Open from the USGA could go to River Forest,
Oh, yeah.
trick it up, and the guys would shoot +2 there too. And that's what they did at Marion at a very short course. As a matter of fact, I'd even like to get the yardages for River Forest and see I may do that.
But I would have everything weed eated there.
Yeah, exactly. We need a weed eater there, but they left that rough pretty high and really thick. And here was the thing: the rough was extra thick because of all the rain they had.
Yeah, right.
And a couple of years ago, well, here's what happened. 2 years ago, a congressional outside of D.C., Rory McIlroy won, and he was minus 16.
Right.
They don't like that.
Right.
Well, the weather was that because they had a drought and they had and the rough, they couldn't grow it.
Right.
So. Therefore, we had a record-breaking score on his part. Well, the last 2 years, it's been in the pluses. No one's broken par. No surprise.
See, I never seen anything like that with the high grass. I just thought,
Oh yeah, that was they couldn't do a lot of cutting because of the weather.
Right.
They've had nearly 10 inches of rain there in the last couple of weeks.
Right.
But they didn't care that it was like that.
Yeah. Now turning to baseball, with Father's Day yesterday. Is there a stat like who hit the most runs on Father's Day in Major League history, or do they have any?
I think the only stat that I ever had was a no-hitter that was thrown by Jim Bunning.
Right.
And I think he had like 6 or 8 kids, probably 6.
Right.
But he threw a no-hitter on Father's Day back in the 60s. That's about the only thing I can remember about anything unusually happening statistically in baseball.
Yeah, I tried to look up the other day, like, who hit the most home runs on Father's Day or most RBIs, and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, so. Sometimes research can be tough, right?
Yeah. I would like to try the Grand Salami.
Okay.
Trivia. Number 2.
Okay. Is it my turn?
I think it might be mine.
Okay.
Let's go.
Go to it.
Here we go, Paul. Number 2.
2.
Number 2. I feel like David Letterman there. Name the only major leaguer to be named MVP while making the most errors and striking out the most times. The only major leaguer to be MVP while making the most errors and striking out the most.
I'm going to say Barry Bonds. I know it's wrong.
It is not Barry Bonds. Right. It was Zolio Versailles of the 1965 Minnesota Twins.
Before my time.
He was a shortstop, third baseman. I think he played shortstop the year he won the MVP. The Twins were very good.
But his other numbers, and I forget what they were exactly. We can always look them up. Okay. But he just had fantastic numbers elsewhere. And despite the fact that he struck out, I think it was 121 times, and he had maybe 39 errors on the season, which is a lot for his position. Still named the MVP. Did well. So, Paul, thank you for coming up.
Thanks, Paul.
Good to have you.
All right, I've done a little checking.
Okay.
The U.S. Open this week at Marion, and they had mentioned that it was such a short course, and they had logistical issues there, and that's why they hadn't had it there in a while. It wasn't because the course was small. 69.96 was the total yardage, and it was the first U.S. Open to be contested on a course less than 7,000 yards in a very long time. I checked River Forest, Paul, 6,831.
Ooh.
So that's total yardage at River Forest, which is only
200,
about 150 yards shorter than what they played at Marion. I'm telling you, they put them in there and they trick it up, and my God, those greens, are you kidding? The wavy greens at River Forest. It's doable. Believe me, you can do it. I really believe the USGA could trick out any course and they could have the same result. I have now come to that conclusion.
Let's go to the phones again here, and I think Bruce is on the line. Bruce, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Robert.
Good evening.
Bill Austin died, I see.
Yeah, someone told me that last week.
I can't hear.
Bill Austin, the former Steeler.
Oh yeah, he coached back in the late 50s and early 60s.
Yeah. Before Noel got there. Yeah, I completely missed that.
He was with the Redskins too.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Bill Austin, there was.
And a guy by the name of Reverend Andrew Greeley, who wrote sports articles, died. I don't even remember him.
No, I missed him too.
And Gale Sayers is 70 years old, catching up to me.
Wow, how about that?
Yeah. And a guy by the name of, was a great golfer too, Miller Barber died.
I saw that last week, they mentioned it. Mr. X, one of the great nicknames of all time, Mr. X.
Robert Stage, S-T-A-G-E, died. He worked with the Rooneys for years and years. I don't remember him.
Yeah, that's not one I know either.
And Joe Namath is 70 years old.
It's happening to everybody, Bruce.
And somebody that used to be with the Phillies, J.A. Happ, is on the 60 days disabled list.
There seems. Did you happen to see the one this weekend where the pitcher from Tampa got hit in the head? J.A. Happ had gotten hit earlier this year from Toronto, and it doesn't seem like he's making his way back. And Alex Cobb was the name of the Tampa pitcher that took a line drive right to the head again this weekend and got out of the hospital in one day, luckily. But
I heard Todd Callis talking about that.
yes, and they said that it was the sound that frightened everybody more than anything.
And ESPN Radio has agreed to air the Steeler games nationally.
Well, that works.
Huh?
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's a Steeler
I'm
Nation.
going to try the multiple tonight. I'm eligible.
Multiple choice.
Yeah.
You're up, Bob.
Okay, here we go. Question number 7. If you're ready, Bruce, here we go. 2 future Hall of Fame second basemen played for Houston. In 1964, Joe Morgan was one of the 2. Who was the other? It was either Nellie Fox, Joe Gordon, Bobby Doerr, or Ryne Sandberg. One of those 4.
Repeat the 4 again, please.
What did he say?
He said repeat.
Repeat the 4?
Yeah.
Nellie Fox, Joe Gordon, Bobby Doerr, Ryne Sandberg.
I'll say Bobby Doerr.
And unfortunately incorrect, Nellie Fox, and I think Fox, it could have been his final year or the year after.
It was with the White Sox, I think.
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famers, Nellie Fox.
There's a long drive in deep right center field, and David at China Lobster says hello in his new building.
Thanks, Bruce.
All right. We do have another caller. All right, John from Natrona. Hey, John.
Hey,
thank
good
you.
afternoon, boys.
What's happening?
How are you, Mike?
We miss having you out here.
What's that?
I said we miss having you out here.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Maybe next time. There's
Well-
always a chair for you.
So how'd they like the hats?
They liked them, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, they all gave them to their husbands.
We got a bunch, we had 3 or 4 hats, I guess. We got out to John, and so walking around with my radio show hats. Sports World.
Yes, sir.
Flip down sunglasses, and they're handy. Anyway, John.
Excellent for mowing the lawn.
So they say they're on track to win 90 games. Somebody said
something along those lines.
I don't know about 90. I'll say maybe 84 maybe.
It's not enough. I want to make the playoffs. Am I greedy?
I think 84 will make the playoffs.
That's tight. I mean, I think the 80s made it last year, but I remember going back and checking it out, and that second spot would normally have been about 90. I think they're probably going to have to get to 90. But then again, I don't know. The teams that are coming up from behind are San Francisco and Colorado right now. They're the teams that are behind the Pirates and the Reds. So we'll see. I guess the surefire way of making sure you get in is to win the division, but that's going to be very difficult. Those are 2 really good teams.
I got to say, I like the starts both from Cole and Compton.
Well, say that again, John. I didn't hear you.
I do like the starts both by Garrett Cole and by Compton.
Brandon, yeah, I thought Compton was somebody that I'll be honest with you. I hadn't heard of him. The only reason I even knew of him was that I'll check out the Indianapolis website to see check the box score to see how guys were doing, and I've seen every 5 days he's been pitching. I thought he was pretty. Impressive in his first start. Struck out the first 4 guys he saw. Didn't get a lot of help from the Pirates bats on Saturday, or I think they would have gotten another win there. They battled Kershaw pretty well, and they had got men in scoring position. I think were 1 for 13, something like that, and kind of weren't able to do that. But he's going to get another start. They said he's going to pitch again on Thursday in Cincinnati, and then they're hopeful that Genmar Gomez will be able to come back and take that next turn. So they really just just really trying to hold water here. And it's just, it's such a terrible time to have all these pitchers hurt when they're going into Cincinnati this week and have those 4 games. And, you know, it could have been something really big. But they're going to have to hit. And in that ballpark, you have to hit to win anyway. So let's turn the bats loose and we'll see what happens.
And probably at the end of the season, we're going to be taking a look back. If we had won just 1 more game a month, would be 6 more games up, and we wouldn't have this sweat. You go back and look at the 1 game a month that we should have won.
Well, they're always out there. You can always find them.
That's impressive, though. That's their first. What's that? Their first loss in extra innings, I think. And how many extra inning games?
Yeah, that's because of that bullpen. The bullpen's been pretty darn good for them, and that's what. When they get close games, I'll tell you, they so much remind me of Baltimore last year. It's scary how much they remind me of. The Orioles last year, they used probably a dozen starting pitchers, just like the Pirates have done. You never know from 1 week to the next who was in the Orioles starting rotation. They had this unbelievable record in 1-run games, and I believe it won something like 19 in a row in extra innings. Just ridiculous. Well, that's not sustainable. Well, probably not, but it was for a whole season, and it got them into the playoffs and nearly past the Yankees and into the next round. So it's really what they remind me of. It's all about them right now, believing in themselves, and when things maybe start to go down a little bit, that they don't have those same whatever it was that they've had the last 2 years, and especially last year that caused them to fall apart.
Right. Well, I'll say one last thing, and I'll take trivia. But what's you guys' opinion on the deal with Los Angeles and Arizona?
Well, I thought first of all, I thought they botched the suspensions. I was talking to a caller earlier that how Yasiel Puig didn't get suspended for sucker punching Eric Hinsky from behind. I have no idea.
Right.
And then how Hinsky got 5 games for receiving, basically, and talked to anybody. And people had talked to people on the Dodgers when they were here this weekend who were saying that Hinsky was going around trying to keep peace. And he got a 5-game suspension. I don't.
Go figure.
I get Kennedy for hitting Greinke in the head. You can't be having that. But the rest of it, I don't know how they decided. It took 3-4 days for them to come up with it. And now, of course, everybody appeals. So.
Well, let's try trivia, and I might see you guys next week. Maybe I'll take a ride out.
Okay, John, what's your pleasure?
We'll take multiple choice, I guess, this week.
All right. Is it yours or mine?
I don't remember. It's my turn.
I think it's Bob's turn.
Okay. Go ahead, Bob.
New producer.
Let the caller pick.
Maybe I'll bring you some luck. Number 8. Name the National League pitcher, John, who won 25 games 3 times in his career and never won a Cy Young Award. John Burkett, Juan Marichal, Danny Jackson, or Dwight Gooden?
We'll say Danny Jackson.
Who'd he say?
He said Danny Jackson.
Danny Jackson is incorrect. Juan Marichal, in fact, one of the years, he was a 26-game winner.
It's hard to win 25. Well, it's harder now because they don't let you pitch long enough.
By the way, do we have another caller on the line? Oh, boy. Hey, John, thank you.
See you guys next week.
All right.
Thanks, John.
Here's our final break. We got to squeeze in this next call when we return. Back in a flash.
This is where you get the absolute freshest deli meats and cheeses. Fazio's Italian Deli in Arnold. At Fazio's, you're getting only the best and freshest selection. Fazio's has its own bakery and offers you fresh baked bread, rolls, pastries, and more. Pick up individual salads to go, Italian sausages, hoagies, custom-made sandwiches, even party trays for your next get-together. Freshness and quality every time at Fazio's Italian Deli, Leishman and Dre in Arnold.
Max and his son made their way homeward bound when mischievous rain dropped down, down, down. Safety was threatened by every roguish drip. They slipped and slid. They couldn't get a grip. Then along came the Michelin Man, reminding them the right tire changes everything. Stop up to 31 feet shorter than a leading competitor with the new Michelin Defender tire, backed by a 90,000-mile warranty. Michelin, a better way forward.
Available at Highland Tire under the bridge in Tarentum and Freeport Road, Natrona Heights. Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you could purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Westmoreland provides a full range of coverage for all of your automobile needs. Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557.
You know, Tower Auto Sales has been around for well over 30 years at the same location in Blawnox. Now, if you're looking for a great pre-owned vehicle, call on the experts, the great guys at Tower Auto Sales who can make it happen for you. Just buy it at Tower Auto Sales. Call Mike Fanto. He's the chief cook and bottle washer there at 412-828-6202. Okay, we got to get this final caller in. And a reminder, my radio show Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, WAVL, 910 on the dial.
And next week's show, for all you Thursday watchers, 5:30. 5:30 next Thursday.
Let's get to Tim. Tim, welcome to the program.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good evening.
Okay, nice to have you aboard.
Hey, I just wanted to get your opinion on what your expectations are for the Cincinnati Reds for this 4-game stand.
Well, I expect trouble. That's my first expectation. I expect trouble. I don't know what form it'll come in, and I don't know what game it'll come in, but I expect them to hit somebody because it's just the way they operate. I would hope that they can split, Tim, because considering the shape their pitching staff's in right now, I would.
You'd go for 2 or 4.
I'd love to win 2 of them, and we'll just move on, and that gets you almost through another week of the season. And they're going to have a tough 3 games in Anaheim this weekend. No matter how badly they're doing, those are going to be tough games. I'll sign up for a split right now.
Oh, and real quickly, I just wanted to wish a happy birthday to Billy Joe in the studio and tell her I love you, and I can't wait for you to get home.
Billy Joe, happy birthday!
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's tomorrow, but happy early birthday, honey.
Hey.
Well, while we're at it, I'm going to say happy birthday to my mom. Hers is Saturday.
Well, from a fellow Easter graduate,
yes,
tell your mom.
You Easter Fraser Bucks, you stick together.
Hey, Tim, thanks for the call.
Thanks, Tim.
We'll make sure your wife gets home on time.
Billy Joe just got ambushed right there.
Oh, yeah.
That was an ambush. That was beautiful.
All right, Billy Joe, how about that? 26 again, huh?
It's lovely.
27? No, you're not.
Well, the good news about that is she's never going to catch up to either one of us.
You know what? I'm almost twice her age when you... Gee whiz.
I will be... I qualify for the senior tour in less than 6 months.
Wanted to mention one quick thing. It was in today's edition of the Monday edition of the Valley News Dispatch. 4 Alakiski youth football programs will go together for this summer and form the Allegheny Youth Football League. And competing will be Armstrong, Deer Lakes, Highlands, and Freeport. And what that will do, according to the article, I'm just going to give you what I remember from it. Travel is cut down, and they're going to be using the same weight classes. So,
and they're going to promote the heads-up tackling, which is something that Mike Tomlin's gotten behind, and the NFL's gotten behind. Which you should be doing instead of tackling like this, is to tackle with your head up.
Right.
So try to take some head injuries out of the game and try to keep football still being football,
right,
and not what some are trying to turn it into, unfortunately.
So
we got to keep these kids safe, though.
Well, really, congratulations on the effort that these guys are doing.
And the thing is that just to be able to play against like-sized teams,
right,
they can't just roll more and more kids out there, and then
Did you catch my story?
It's a disadvantage.
I think it was on, well, I'm trying to remember when it was on, but there was a 300-pound 10 or 11-year-old, I think it was in Texas, that even though he was eligible to play elsewhere, he was fighting to stay closer with his friends when the weight class was limited like at 165. 300 pounds, Mike.
I've heard stories of a lot of kids that I've run across in the last 15, 20 years that they talk about they didn't get a chance to play until later on because they weren't allowed to play in the midget leagues because they were just too big.
Too big. Folks, we got to run. Bob Tattern here. Thanks for catching the show.
Mike Pavlik.
And we'll see you next week.
You for watching Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Torrento and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.